Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It's the United Stand chart show for this week where we count down from 10 to 1 the United Players of the Week. Nemanja Matic has been number 1 for the last 2 weeks. Will he hold on to it? Well, I can tell you now that this is without doubt the best chart show we've done. The hardest chart show we've done. Let's get into it. It's the final countdown on the United Stand chart show, and let's fly straight into it at number 10. Should I stay or should I go now? Well, I'll tell you what, Harry Maguire, you were very lucky to stay this week. You have dropped, how many places? 2 places this week, but dropped completely out. We've got 1 new entry this week, but we've gone 1 slider out of the top 10, and that slider is David De Gea. He is out. He is out. Not because of anything terrible. He made a mistake last week against Bournemouth, and I don't think he's really had that much to do to push himself into the top 10. Harry Maguire made the mistake against Bournemouth, but ultimately I think he's done relatively good enough to stay in the top 10 this week. But look, as I said, it's not about bad performers. It's about amazing performances, and getting in, even getting up to like 9th, 8th, 7th is very, very difficult this week. So Harry Maguire stays in there at number 10, but it could have been worse for him. So Harry Maguire at number 10. Number 9 this week, Victor Lindelof. He's a new entry. He's a new entrander. He's a new starter. He's a new entry as number 9 this week, Victor Lindelof. Certainly think he's had a better week than Harry Maguire, so he deserves to move up that spot. Wasn't in the top 10 last week, but look, I think Victor Lindelof gets a lot of stick. I think he's seen as the player that must be removed from the back four to give us that pace, to give us a title push if we ever are going to be title contenders. But what about this? What about if we bring in a pacey centre-back and they play with Lindelof and not Maguire? I mean, Maguire's the captain, he's £80 million, so you expect that to happen. But for this week, Victor Lindelof, he is in at number 9. Number 8 this week, well look, it's Marcus Rashford, and he is up 1 spot from last week. Is it high enough for Marcus Rashford? Of course it's not, but as Take That once said, have a little patience. Have a little patience, yeah. 'Cause the scars run so deep, it's been hard, but I have to believe. Have a little patience. And I think that's the thing with Marcus Rashford. Have a bit of patience, because he is doing well. He's not hitting the heights of the Greenwoods and the Rashfords and the Brunos and the Pogbas at the moment, but he is doing well. And the scary thing about Marcus Rashford is he will get better. He's coming back from a very, very different injury to most footballers with that back injury. And I think maybe he's playing within himself a little bit, but he's playing well. And he will get better. And I expect Marcus Rashford to keep climbing and climbing up this chart show week after week. In at number 7, and this is bad. Slide away, I give it all you've got. My today fell in from the top. Don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Oh, he is the biggest faller of the week. And it's Eren Wamba, and it makes me sad. It makes me sad. I want to sing a sad song, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to keep it together because we're only at number 7. Eren Wamba has consistently been, this is the 8th time we've done the chart show. We started it just before lockdown. We've had lockdown and we've done it for 3 or 4 weeks after lockdown. Eren Wamba has always been in the top 5. This is the first time he's not been in the top 5. He was last week's number 2. He is this week's number 7. He is a big slider. Slide away. You've done that. He's a big slider. And the reason he's a big slider is because there's so many players who've done better than him. And he probably had his worst game in a United shirt against Aston Villa. And it wasn't even terrible. It wasn't terrible. He just had an off game. And if you have an off game, you are going to drop in this chart show. It is as simple as that. So unfortunately, for Eren Wamba, he is out of the top 5 for the first time ever, and he is this week's number 7. But again, I expect him to go back up there because he's been our Player of the Year this season. Number 6. This is even harder to do. I'm almost crying. It must have been love, but it's over now. It must have been good, but I lost it somehow. Yeah, it must have been love. Oasis sing Roxette. It must have been love. 2 weeks at number 1. Nemanja Matic plummets to 6. What is going on? Ricky's in tears. He can't. He's inconsolable. I'm not doing the Sunday night show tonight, Fleck. Tell that Goldbridge. I'm not doing it. Matic is superb. What's he doing? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Well, I get it because it's honest, real opinion, and he doesn't deserve to be in the top 5 this week. I'm sorry, Ricky. I'm bloody sorry, but he should not be in the top 5 this week. He's number 6 this week. Nemanja Matic, number 1 for the last 2 weeks. It felt like he could be there like Brian Adams for weeks and weeks and weeks. But he's out. He's off number 1 and he's not even in the top 5. Why is he not in the top 5? I can tell you it's this simple reason. He's not really done anything wrong this week, but I think against Bournemouth and against Villa, he was good. And I tell you what, we should be patting ourselves on the back here, especially the United lads, because good don't get you in the top 5 for Manchester United's chart show anymore. Good might get you number 1 for Arsenal. You'd probably be number 1 for 3 years on the Arsenal chart show for being good. But in the Manchester United chart show, good does not even get you in the top 5, even if you were number 1 last week. And we do take that into account. You do get, consideration points for being number 1. You don't just plummet. But I tell you what, you cannot argue with what we're about to do with this top 5. So Matic, look, again, I think he might be moving up next week. He might be moving down. Who knows? But good ain't good enough to get you in this top 5. So in at number 5 this week. Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, living on a prayer. Take my name and I'll make it a prayer. I love that song. Whoa. We're halfway there. That's why I sang that. We're halfway there. Number 5 this week is Luke Shaw. He's moved up 1 place from number 6. Some would say he might deserve to be higher. Haters would say he shouldn't even be in the top 10. You don't know ball. But Luke Shaw this week, he was brilliant against Aston Villa and he was brilliant against Bournemouth and he deserves to move up a spot to number 5. I would probably like to put him higher, but the quality of players that are in the top 4 this week, it would be wrong to put Luke Shaw any higher than that. But I tell you what, I think you're into that area now. If you're top 5 this week, you'd probably be number 1 any other week. That's how high the bar is this week. I can absolutely say this is the hardest chart show I've done. Be very interested to see what the comments say, because I guarantee you Luke Shaw would have been number 1 when we were doing this before lockdown for his performances. The bar is just so high. It really, really is. In at number 4, and it's a non-mover at number 4. It's Paul Pogba. I mean, look, many a man and woman will be saying, what are you on about? Paul Pogba should be high. You can dance if you want to. You can leave it all else behind. Dance, 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 dance. You can dance if you want to, Pogba. I want to see some of these dance videos because we saw so much of it and it got so much stick before. Paul Pogba dances because he likes to dance. So you can dance if you want to because he's consistent. He's performing. He got his first goal of the week. This first goal since coming back from injury this week. Fantastic goal. He's doing his job. He's doing his job. He's supporting the midfield defensively. He's supporting it attacking wise. He's not the focal point like everything goes through him, but he's a massive part of that side and he's playing fantastically well. It's almost understated what Paul Pogba's doing. The hype's not around him because it was always like when United played badly, Pogba. When United played well, he doesn't do that enough. Well, we're playing really well at the moment, but the headlines are not on Pogba and I think that suits him. But he definitely should have some headlines on him because he's playing really, really well. I want him to sign that new contract. I want him to be part of this new journey for Manchester United. Number 3. You're so vain. You probably think this song is about you. You're so vain. Everybody's talking about you. About you, about you. Whoa, well, you came into the garden like... No, I could sing that phrase as well. I don't think Bruno Fernandes is vain, but you'd think he was vain from the way our rivals are treating him, calling him, a diver, this, that and the other. They're trying to turn him into a villain, Bruno Fernandes, when actually he's just a driven individual who wants to succeed, who will succeed, and the English press better get on board rather than turning him into a villain, because they will do. They will do it. They'd like to do that. This is going to be our Cantona. He can be up there with De Bruyne as the best attacking midfielder in the league, and he's going to get better and better in this Manchester United. I can't believe he's number 3. That's the thing. I can't believe Bruno Fernandes has only been in the top 3 out of 8 weeks about 2 or 3 times. He's always been in the top 5. He's never not been in the top 5 since the very first show we did. But he's not. He holds on to number 3. Holds on to number 3, Bruno Fernandes, despite actually having an amazing week. So number 3 for Bruno Fernandes. Number 2, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. He moves in mysterious ways. Classic U2. I like you too, Martial. Look, Martial's goal against Bournemouth was electric. I should have done that. He's electric. He's got a family full of eccentrics. He does things I never expected. And I need more time. I've just mixed up the lyrics there to make it work. But he is electric, Anthony Martial. Fantastic goal against Bournemouth. Fantastic performance against Bournemouth. And even better against Villa. The only thing that really stopped him probably being number 1 this week was that he didn't score against Villa, because his performance was flawless, and he should have been man of the match in that game. But Anthony Martial, for me, as I said yesterday, I don't know what Jamie Carragher's talking about. This is a guy who is, for me, up there as one of the complete number 9s in the league at the moment. He's just doing everything you want him to do. He's running the line, he's holding the ball up, he's tracking back, he's getting into the box when he's tracked back, he's scoring goals, he's linking up the play. He's got a great understanding with Rashford, and he always has. He's got the same with Pogba and Bruno. He's got it with Greenwood now as well. I mean, what more do you want from your number 9? He totally is, in line and has a great understanding. He's always had it with Pogba as well. I think he's fantastic, and I think he's going to get better and better. I think when you look at Martial, this is his first season as a number 9. We tried Rashford as a number 9. Didn't work. Put him on the left wing, he's been brilliant. Martial's took to that number 9 spot superbly from day 1, and he's getting better and better, and now he's got better players around him. I just think he can be, again, like Mason Greenwood, anything he wants to be. Which leads me on to number 1. Set fire to the rain. Here he is. He is the fire starter. I don't want to do Prodigy, but he is the fire starter. He could set fire to the rain. He is absolutely deserving of this number 1 spot at 18 years of age. And age is but a number. Of course it is. But to do it at 18, that's not why he's number 1. He'd be number 1 if he was 28. But this is a youth player who isn't 19 till December, I don't think, who is number 1 in the hardest chart show I've done. And I think it would be the hardest one you would do. And when you're thinking about it, I'm sure you'll take this on board. This is the most competitive week we've ever had. And hopefully we're going to have more and more like this, because hopefully we're going to keep playing like this more and more. But this is a culmination this week. It's not just the 2 wins this week. It's also the momentum of the previous wins. And if we win 2 games next week, it's going to be an even harder chart show next week. So for Mason Greenwood to be number 1 ahead of Bruno, Pogba, Martial, Matic, Luke Shaw, Rashford, Wan-Bissaka, to be number 1, and he was actually, this was the easiest spot for me this week. Everything else was hard. It was like, should they be 5? Should they be 6? Should they drop that much? But Mason Greenwood was always, that's where I'm starting at number 1, Mason. It's a bit like putting the best player on your team sheet. He was the easiest spot. I never contemplated putting anyone number 1, because the goals that he's scoring at the moment, fantastic. But the goal that impressed me the most was the goal against Aston Villa, because it was with the right foot. It was clinical. It killed the game. But look, is his involvement in the game the same as Bruno's or Martial's? Is he involved in the game as much as that? No, he's not. But he's making moments in games that other players can't do. And he's 18. He's 18 years of age. He's going to drift in and out of games. Of course he is. There is no 18-year-old I can think of that at 18 is consistently brilliant. Like a Bruno is at his age or anything like that. Because you've got to learn that. You've got to learn from your mistakes. You've got to, there's so much you've got to learn when you're a young player. And for him to be number 1 this week, look, he totally deserves it. It's not a sympathy vote at all. He's been absolutely superb. And the interesting thing is, can he hold on to it for next week? Because the challenge from everybody behind him is huge. And we're going into our biggest week, of course, with Southampton and is it Crystal Palace we've got on Thursday? So, look, he will start both those games, and I wouldn't be surprised if he scored in both those games as well. And he's scoring in consecutive games as well at the moment. So, look, Mason Greenwood's my number one. Smash a like on the video if you agree with that. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I enjoy doing it. We are working towards doing it interactively, which I think is going to make it even more fun. But for this week, that is my top 10. Get your comments in below, of course. We have got the Sunday night show tonight with Ricky. I will mention Matic at 7 or 6. He won't be happy about that. Ricky, Adam and Saeed, and obviously we'll be live if there's any other news today. But enjoy your Sunday. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. I love the chart show. I know it's a bit of a cult show, and I know not everybody watches it, but I hope you enjoy it if you do. And I'll speak to you all soon.